Honey, what are you doing?
She's got on the dress she made.
Oh, come on, let us...
Lucille Ball, the legendary star of television comedy, captivated audiences for decades with her humor, charisma, and unforgettable performances. From the iconic moments on I Love Lucy to her influence behind the scenes in television production, she became more than a star. She was a symbol of resilience, creativity, and groundbreaking talent. But in what would become her final interview, Lucille revealed a side of herself that few had ever seen, reflective, vulnerable, and deeply human. It was a glimpse into the woman behind the laughter, and it left everyone who listened profoundly moved. During this last conversation, Lucille opened up about her life, her struggles, and the challenges she had faced as a woman navigating a male-dominated industry. She spoke candidly about personal losses, the sacrifices required to maintain her career, and the private moments that shaped her both on and off the screen. Her words resonated far beyond the world of entertainment, touching anyone who had ever faced hardship, loss, or the pressure of expectations. Viewers were struck not just by her honesty, but by the raw emotion and wisdom she shared, reflecting a lifetime of experiences condensed into heartfelt insights. This interview became more than just a recounting of a career. It was a window into Lucille Ball's humanity. The strength, vulnerability, and authenticity she displayed reminded everyone that behind even the brightest stars are stories of struggle, courage, and perseverance. What she revealed that day was moving, inspiring, and ultimately heartbreaking, leaving those who watched or heard it in tears. Lucille Ball's story began long before she became a household name. Born in 1911 in Jamestown, New York, she grew up in a modest family where hard work and determination were fundamental values. From an early age, Lucille displayed an extraordinary sense of humor and a natural talent for performance. She participated in school plays, local theater productions, and community events, often impressing audiences with her expressive face, timing, and the ability to transform simple moments into comedic gold. These formative years laid the foundation for the woman who would later revolutionize television comedy. In her late teens and early 20s, Lucille moved to New York City, determined to pursue a career in show business. She faced challenges typical of the era: limited opportunities, intense competition, and a male-dominated industry, but her persistence and charisma helped her stand out. Lucille began working as a model and then transitioned into film, appearing in small roles in Hollywood productions. While these early roles were minor, they allowed her to learn the craft of acting, timing, and professionalism, skills she would later apply with perfect precision on television. It was during this period that she developed the versatility and resilience that became her hallmark. By the 1940s, Lucille Ball had started gaining recognition for her comedic talent. Her timing, physical comedy, and expressive facial gestures drew attention, and she gradually became known as a promising comedic actress. However, fame did not come easily. Lucille faced rejection, criticism, and the pressures of a rapidly evolving entertainment industry. She was often underestimated by producers who saw her only as a beautiful face, rather than a capable comedic performer. Despite these obstacles, Lucille remained focused, committed to refining her craft, and determined to prove herself on her own terms. Her personal life during this time was equally complex. Lucille married for the first time, experienced heartbreak, and navigated the challenges of balancing personal ambitions with professional growth. Each struggle shaped her resilience and added depth to her performances. By the time she met Desi Arnaz, a talented musician and actor who would become her partner in life and on-screen, Lucille had already developed a strong sense of determination and independence. The partnership with Arnaz would ultimately transform both their lives and the television landscape forever. The creation of I Love Lucy in 1951 marked a turning point not just in Lucille's career but in the history of television. She wasn't just an actress on a set. She was an innovator. Lucille broke barriers as a woman in television, taking on roles behind the camera as well as in front of it. She contributed to production decisions, casting, and the development of scripts, demonstrating a creative vision few could match. Her performances combined humor with relatability, making her character a beloved figure in households across America. It was this blend of professionalism, creativity, and authenticity that allowed Lucille Ball to rise to unprecedented heights. By the time she gave her final interview decades later, the world had seen her as a comedic genius, a trailblazer, and an enduring icon. But as she reflected on her early years and rise to stardom, Lucille revealed aspects of her life that had remained largely private. She spoke about the fears, doubts, and sacrifices behind the laughter, the moments that tested her strength and resilience. Even as audiences remembered the bright, bubbly, and humorous persona, her reflections reminded everyone that behind the laughter was a woman who had fought tirelessly, endured setbacks, and persevered with courage and determination. Her early life, challenges, and rise to fame show not only her talent, but also the emotional resilience that allowed her to thrive in an industry that was often unforgiving. These experiences would later inform the emotional reflections she shared in her final interview, where the world witnessed the woman behind the laughter in a way that was deeply moving. By the time I Love Lucy became a cultural phenomenon, Lucille Ball had not only established herself as a comedic genius, but had also begun breaking barriers that few women in entertainment had dared to challenge. Television in the 1950s was an industry dominated by men, from producers to network executives. Women were often relegated to supporting roles, expected to conform to stereotypical expectations of femininity and decorum. Lucille, however, refused to accept limitations on her creative abilities. She became a producer, co-owning the Lucille production company with Desi Arnaz, which gave her unprecedented control over the shows she starred in. Her influence reshaped television, creating a template for future female entertainers and executives. While her professional life flourished, Lucille faced intense personal struggles behind the camera. Balancing marriage, motherhood, and a demanding career was not easy. The pressure to maintain a perfect public image often conflicted with her private realities. In interviews later in life, she reflected on the strain of managing relationships while maintaining professional commitments. She was open about the challenges she faced with her marriage to Desi Arnaz, including moments of conflict, long separations due to work, and the difficulties of navigating a high-profile life while raising children. These revelations were especially poignant in her final interview, revealing that behind the laughter and joy on screen, she had endured moments of profound emotional struggle. Lucille's perseverance through these personal challenges demonstrated a remarkable inner strength. She continued to innovate in television even while facing criticism and setbacks. While many could have been overwhelmed by public scrutiny and the relentless demands of fame, Lucille found ways to turn these challenges into opportunities. She remained committed to her craft, continuously pushing herself to deliver performances that were both authentic and groundbreaking. Her resilience inspired colleagues, co-stars, and audiences alike, proving that true talent is often paired with extraordinary determination. Her impact extended beyond the entertainment industry. Lucille's work challenged societal norms and inspired generations of women to pursue careers in media and leadership roles. She showed that women could succeed both creatively and professionally, while navigating personal obstacles. By taking control of production decisions, asserting her creative vision, and consistently delivering iconic performances, she set a standard that would influence the industry for decades. Her story in this period was one of empowerment, courage, and relentless ambition, showing that she was more than just a comedian. She was a pioneer. Despite her many successes, Lucille remained deeply aware of the human cost of fame. In her final interview, she spoke candidly about the emotional toll of public life, including the loneliness, exhaustion, and constant scrutiny she faced. She reflected on the importance of finding balance and cherishing the people and moments that mattered most. These insights offered a rare glimpse into the inner life of a woman whose public persona often overshadowed her personal struggles. Audiences listening to her words were moved not only by her honesty but by the grace and vulnerability with which she shared these reflections. While she revolutionized television and inspired countless individuals, she did so while navigating complex personal and emotional challenges. Her candid reflections in her final interview provide a deeper understanding of the resilience and strength required to maintain both success and authenticity. These moments make her story more than just a tale of fame. They reveal the profound humanity behind a legend whose laughter touched millions, but whose heart carried its own private trials. As Lucille Ball grew older, she became increasingly reflective about her life, career, and the choices that had shaped her journey. By the time of her final interview, she had spent decades in the public eye, entertaining millions and breaking barriers that few others could have imagined. Yet, despite the applause, accolades, and global recognition, she never lost sight of her own humanity. In the interview, she spoke openly about the vulnerability and fears that had accompanied her success, sharing stories that were deeply personal and often moving for those who listened. It was in these moments of honesty that her true self, the woman behind the laughter, shone through. Lucille described the immense pressure of constantly performing under the public gaze, while audiences saw her as the exuberant, comedic genius of I Love Lucy. Few understood the preparation, emotional energy, and perseverance that went into every performance. Behind the scenes, there were moments of doubt, anxiety, and fatigue that required her to dig deep into her own resilience. She candidly revealed how she often felt isolated, even amidst fame and recognition, and how difficult it could be to separate her public persona from her private self. For viewers, these revelations humanized a figure who had seemed larger than life, making her struggles relatable and poignant. The interview also touched on the sacrifices Lucille had made in pursuit of her career. She spoke about balancing family life with professional commitments, acknowledging the difficult decisions she had faced as a mother, wife, and executive. The demands of the entertainment industry often clashed with her personal life, and she admitted that there were times when she questioned whether the sacrifices were worth it. Yet, she also expressed immense gratitude for the people who supported her, her family, co-stars, and mentors who had helped her navigate both the challenges and triumphs of her journey. Her words painted a picture of a woman who was not only strong but deeply appreciative of the love and support she had received along the way. One of the most moving aspects of the interview was Lucille's reflection on the legacy she hoped to leave behind. She wanted people to remember her not just for her laughter or her comedic talent, but for the authenticity and determination that defined her life. She emphasized the importance of perseverance, creativity, and staying true to oneself, even when faced with adversity. These insights resonated with audiences and industry peers alike, reminding everyone that true greatness is often measured not just by achievements but by the courage and character shown in overcoming obstacles. Simon Cowell and others who witnessed the interview later described it as profoundly emotional, noting that Lucille's honesty and vulnerability had a rare impact. Her willingness to speak openly about struggles and emotions touched even the toughest of hearts, showing that behind a legendary career was a person with hopes, fears, and profound depth. The tears shed by those who watched were not simply for her passing or the end of her career. They were for the humanity she revealed, for the lessons she shared, and for the quiet strength that had carried her through a life of extraordinary achievement. A mixture of vulnerability, wisdom, and emotional honesty. It demonstrates that even the brightest stars face personal challenges, and that true legacy is measured not only by public success, but by the courage to confront one's own humanity. Lucille's words left an indelible mark on those who heard them, creating a lasting impression of a woman whose brilliance extended far beyond the laughter she inspired. Lucille Ball's final interview was more than just a reflection on a lifetime of achievements. It was a testament to the enduring impact of her work and the emotional resonance of her life story. By this point, she had firmly established herself as a trailblazer, a woman who had transformed the television industry, redefined comedy, and inspired generations of performers. Yet the true power of this interview lay not in the accolades or accomplishments, but in the raw honesty and emotional depth she shared. For viewers, it was a rare opportunity to see the person behind the icon, someone who had faced immense challenges yet had remained true to herself throughout it all. During the conversation, Lucille spoke candidly about her hopes, regrets, and the moments that had defined her career and personal life. She reflected on the joy of creating laughter for audiences, the pride of breaking new ground for women in entertainment, and the bittersweet reality of personal sacrifices made along the way. Listeners were moved by her ability to balance humor with sincerity, delivering insights that were as heartwarming as they were heartbreaking. In sharing these intimate reflections, Lucille reminded the world that even those who seem invincible have vulnerabilities, struggles, and moments of doubt. Her legacy, as she described it, extended far beyond the screen. Lucille had opened doors for countless women in television and entertainment, proving that creativity and leadership were not limited by gender. She emphasized the importance of authenticity, perseverance, and courage, encouraging others to pursue their dreams while maintaining their values. Her words in the final interview carried the weight of decades of experience, offering lessons not only for aspiring performers, but for anyone striving to achieve their goals. Despite obstacles, it was clear that she viewed her influence not as fame, but as a responsibility to inspire and empower others. The emotional impact of the interview was intensified by Lucille's vulnerability. She spoke of loss, challenges in her personal relationships, and the pressures of sustaining a career in the public eye. These admissions provided a stark contrast to the vibrant, comedic persona audiences had adored for decades. Yet, it was precisely this openness that left such a lasting impression. Viewers could relate to her humanity, empathize with her struggles, and celebrate her resilience. The tears shed during and after the interview were not simply for the end of a legendary career, they were for the insight into the human spirit that Lucille offered so freely in her final moments on record. Simon Cowell and others in the entertainment industry who followed her career noted the extraordinary influence she had, both professionally and personally. Her ability to evoke emotion, whether through performance or conversation, was unparalleled. Cowell, known for his critical eye, publicly expressed admiration for her honesty and courage, highlighting how her story resonated even with those who had spent their lives assessing talent. Lucille's reflections served as a reminder that true artistry is not only about skill or fame, but also about integrity, vulnerability, and the capacity to touch hearts across generations. In conclusion, Lucille Ball's final interview stands as a powerful testament to a life well lived. It offered an intimate glimpse into the challenges, triumphs, and emotional depth of one of television's most beloved figures. Her words left audiences in tears, not simply because of her passing, but because they revealed the extraordinary person behind the laughter, a woman who faced adversity with grace, who broke barriers, and who inspired countless individuals to follow their dreams with courage and authenticity. Lucille Ball's legacy is timeless, and this final interview ensured that her impact would continue to resonate, reminding the world of the profound human story that accompanied the genius of her comedic brilliance.